Qiao Mi never imagined that she could return to her past life after almost passing through 999 worlds. Since you have returned, there will be revenge and resentment. Family affection is something that Qiao Mi doesn't need anymore. In this life, she only cares about herself. Save you guys. Are you kidding me? I just need to live my own life. The female protagonist has no abilities, only an incredible system. Keywords of the novel. Opening cheat system. I struggle to survive in the post-apocalyptic world without pop-ups. Opening cheat system. I struggle to survive in the post-apocalyptic world. Download the complete TXT collection. Opening cheat system. I struggle to survive in the post-apocalyptic world. Read the latest chapter on how to survive in the post-apocalyptic world. Chapter 1. Rebirth. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1 Rebirth. Why can't you be more obedient? It's just a variety show. What's so great about it? What's wrong with letting my sister do it? As for letting you get wet. Hey. Qiao Mi felt a tingling sensation on her scalp as she listened to the noisy noise, rubbing her temples and slowly opening her eyes. What is the situation? Why am I here? Are you speaking? Does this stink so bad that I'm lazy? Surprisingly, he didn't give me a preview and directly brought me to the new world. It seems that this little guy wants to be locked up in a dark room again. Just as Qiao Mi was still thinking about who she would wear in her life. A soft cry came from beside me. Sister, can you just let me go once? I really want to attend, just once. Upon hearing this sound, Qiao Mi became even more confused. What was the situation? How can there be an inexplicable sense of familiarity? But it's so annoying. Get out. Qiao Mi's hoarse voice came out, and Qiao Qiping in the room immediately waited for Qiao Mi in dissatisfaction. Qiao Mi, how did you talk to your younger sister? I don't know what to do. Ran, let's go. We don't pay attention to this rebellious girl. You go directly, and we will communicate directly with Yen Dao. After speaking, Qiao Qiping, with a dark face, stood up and pulled Qiao Ran away. Is this returning to a past life? Lying in bed, Qiao Mi slowly opened her eyes and looked at the sunlight shining through the window. She slowly propped herself up and sat up from the bed. I'm back, I didn't expect to come back, murmured softly. After murmuring softly, Qiao Mi leaned back on the bed, closed her eyes, trying to alleviate her headache. Due to a headache, her fair face turned pale and her beautiful eyebrows furrowed. My heart was beating fiercely, telling of my master's restlessness. Suddenly, a mechanical sound came out of my mind. Host, congratulations on returning to the original world. As you are truly outstanding, you have also brought along the abilities of the 999 worlds you were about to wear before. Sprinkle flowers, celebrate and celebrate. In addition, due to your outstanding performance, as a reward, I have also broken free from the control of the main system for your little baby, whether you are happy or not. Listening to the familiar noise, Qiao Mi's face showed a warm smile, and then she spoke with disdain, shut up, it smells bad, it's really noisy. Woo-woo. Host, they're not stinky. They said they just accidentally wrote the wrong word, and their name is Hao Hao. Alright, stinky, how could I return to my original world? And, in this life, will there still be zombie viruses in this world? Report to the host. Hao Hao doesn't know. Hao Hao is only responsible for sending the host back. Got it, can you let me receive my previous memories again? Okay, host, please accept. After the system finished speaking, Qiao Mi's mind was flooded with many images, like playing a movie. Qiao Mi, 25 years old this year, passed away after her mother gave birth to her. Her father, Qiao Qiping, who was a middle-aged man in her room just now, married pregnant Dong Xinhui 1 month after Qiao Mi's mother passed away. 4 months later, she gave birth to Qiao Ran, who is 6 months younger than Qiao Mi. Qiao Mi was the former captain of a popular girl group, and her career went smoothly. Later, she became popular in a variety show with her outstanding acting skills. In the following years, there were constant invitations. Cheap stepsister Qiao Ran often asks Qiao Mi to give her some resources and plays a lukewarm role without much success. This time, it was even more greedy to get the permanent guest spot for the variety show that Qiao Mi was recording, which caused such a commotion. After receiving her initial memory, Qiao Mi slowly sorted it out. Her scumbag, in order to compete for his stepsister's resources, let himself rain all night on a rainy day until he fainted before being released. And now she has been unconscious for 2 days. Qiao Mi smiled nonchalantly and slowly stood up from bed. Thinking of the recent outbreak of the zombie virus in her past life, she quickly rushed back to save the family. She just wanted to slap herself a few times. You are so foolish. Qiao Mi scolded herself for a while, wanting to stand up, only to find that her head was heavy and her feet were light, her eyes were full of stars, and she couldn't stand steadily. Stinky, do you still have your storage function? Are all my things still there? Host, once again, I am Hao Hao. Please respect the system. Thank you. Your belongings are here. What do you need? Listening to the system's words, Qiao Mi smiled and said, the cold medicine I developed myself has given up the bad smell. After receiving the medicine, Qiao Mi threw the pill into her mouth and didn't forget to tease the system. The Qi system extended its robotic arm to fight Qiao Mi. But I couldn't touch Qiao Mi. Qiao Mi's system is stored in virtual space and is bound to Qiao Mi's consciousness, so it has no physical entity. This is still Qiao Mi's reward for completing 99 fast-piercing tasks. They just didn't expect Qiao Mi to be like an tireless robot, relentlessly completing tasks without rest. Directly completed 999 tasks. The main system can only send Qiao Mi back in order to balance the world quickly. Of course, Qiao Mi is unaware of these ideas, even her system Hao Hao is unaware of the main system. It only thought that its host was too powerful to receive this reward. And Qiao Mi had no idea that the main system would send her back. In fact, after so long, she didn't have any attachment to this world. To be honest, it's a pity that she didn't solve this family's problems. I feel very unhappy in my heart. Now that you're back, that's just the solution to this regret. Stinky, there are still 3 days left for the zombie virus outbreak, right? Yes, host. I used to use the serum I brought back from quickly through the world to separate it for me. This serum was still obtained by Qiao Mi in the previous fast-crossing world, not much, only a dozen or so remain. Being able to strangle zombie viruses means not knowing if they are still useful in this world. Hao Hao in the virtual space awkwardly coughed and said, well, host, let me tell you something. Don't be angry. You won't drink it, will you? Prohibition of insulting the system. It's the main system. It has taken away many of your collections, including the serum, but I'll keep one. Qiao Mi, please don't give me a chance to go back and see the main system, otherwise. Hee hee. I will make this guy kneel down and call him dad. Achoo. The main system of the black hole sneezed and got injured while playing with a baby-sized night pearl, murmuring, which brat is cursing me. After finishing speaking, I continued to play with the treasures in front of me one by one. And if Qiao Mi sees these things, she will feel exceptionally familiar. Because it was all her hard work that brought it about. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Brainstorming Novelty. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2 Brainstorming Novelty. Qiao Mi had just come downstairs when she saw Qiao Ran crying in the living room. Hummed and walked downstairs. After seeing Qiao Mi come down, Qiao Ran, who was crying, quickly stood up and ran to Qiao Mi, holding her hand. Sister, it's okay. It's okay if I don't go. Don't argue with your parents, woo woo. Sister, it's all Ran's fault, Ran. Qiao Mi waved away Qiao Ran's hand directly. Just know it's your fault, I don't want to argue with you. If you don't say you want to participate, then there's nothing wrong with it. After speaking, he walked towards the door. Qiao Qiping saw Qiao Mi walking straight out, and his face immediately turned red with anger. Rebel girl, you rebellious girl, why haven't you been able to learn from Ran for a long time? Don't let me worry, you are. Alright, don't teach me how to do it here. Qiao Mi looked coldly at Qiao Qiping. In her previous life, she longed for family affection, but after experiencing so many worlds, she now feels that without family affection, there is no such thing, it doesn't matter. After all, not every parent is qualified. Qiao Qiping was frightened by Qiao Mi's gaze, and his body involuntarily stumbled towards the back. Dong Xinhui quickly stepped forward to support Qiao Qiping. Qiao Mi, Mom. Hey, Mom hopes your sisters will be fine. Ran has wanted to be close to you since she was young. You. Alright, shut up. You want to be close to me. Hee, do you believe that? If you want to become famous, cheer for yourself, and you're my stepmother. After finishing speaking, Qiao Mi patted Qiao Ran's shoulder before turning around and walking forward. Looking at Qiao Mi's back, Qiao Ran's eyes seemed to have been poisoned. Feeling Qiao Ran's resentful gaze, Qiao Mi turned her head and gave a provocative smile, then opened the door and left. But Qiao Ran recalled Qiao Mi's gaze, her heart beating incessantly. She didn't know why Qiao Mi, who was previously soft, had suddenly changed so much. I couldn't believe it for a moment. Mom and Dad, sister. What's wrong with sister? It's like a different person. Qiao Ran's words made Qiao Qiping's heart skip a beat. Then he patted the table and angrily cursed, "Humph, rebellious girl, be as good as her slutty mother, don't bother with her." After finishing speaking, put the things in your hand on the coffee table and turn around to go upstairs. Old Joe, where are you going? Qiao Qi said without looking back, I've made an appointment with my friend. If you have nothing to do, you can go and audition with Ran. Ran, don't be outdone by Qiao Mi. After speaking, he gave Qiao Ran a warning-filled look. Qiao Ran nodded hastily, with an obedient smile on her face. Dad, don't worry, Ran will definitely give you credit. Upon hearing Qiao Ran's words, Qiao Qiping's face softened a lot. Thinking of Qiao Mi, coupled with her gaze just now, Qiao Qiping felt very uneasy in his heart. He looked ahead in a daze, and then suddenly became aroused. Qiao Ran didn't understand why Qiao Qiping had such a look in his eyes and shouted in confusion, Dad, what's wrong with you? It's okay. After speaking, Qiao Qiping turned around and quickly walked upstairs. At this moment, Qiao Mi was sitting in her own home, staring at her balance in a daze. Host, there are only 3 days left until the end of the previous life. Have you figured out what to do? If I had a plan in mind, I would have taken immediate action instead of sitting here and listening to you push me around. It's really pointless. Host, it's impolite of you to do this, and I'm very angry. Oh. After Qiao Mi finished speaking expressionlessly, she picked up the key next to her and prepared to leave, cutting off contact between Hao and herself. Yunjie, it's me. I want to go to several orphanages. Can you help me purchase some fruits, vegetables, rice, noodles, grains, and oil, and more? Afterwards, I plan to go to several rural primary schools. Qiao Mi, no, you're Qiao Mi, right? What's wrong with you? You're terminally ill. If there's anything you need, just tell your sister. If she can solve it, she will definitely help you solve it. Qiao Mi rubbed her swollen temples and frowned with a headache. With a long sigh of relief, he said, Sister Yun, no, there have been some troublemakers lately. You can help me contact some manufacturers and I need the goods now. Qiao Mi, are you really terminally ill? After saying that, I will remove the facial mask on my face and tear it off, and look at my mobile phone in disbelief. No, you can help me first. I'm on my way to find you now. Let's wait until I arrive. After speaking, Qiao Mi took off her headphones and focused on driving. Qiao Mi debuted at the age of 17 and has been in the industry for 8 years now. She took over from Qiao Mi at the age of 18 and treated him like her own sister. At this moment, her heart was filled with worry, constantly pacing in the living room. Qiao Mi looked bewildered as she watched. Miss Yun, let go of me first, and I'll tell you slowly, okay? Shen Yunzhen couldn't listen to Qiao Mi's words, and now his mind was filled with thoughts that Qiao Mi's life was not long and he was about to cool down. Woo-woo. Why is my family Chi-Chi so unlucky? It's okay to meet such a family member, how can we still get it? Woo-woo. Come on. Such a. Calm down, listen to me, okay? Looking at Qiao Mi, her eyes were filled with grievances. Qiao Mi began to doubt whether she really had a terminal illness. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Fundraising. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 Fundraising. Miss Yun, I dreamt of some bad things and felt very uneasy. In addition, Qiao Qiping has been really bad lately. I just want to break even and avoid disasters. Anyway, I just need to earn money slowly, don't you think? Qiao Mi nodded and then raised her hand to swear. Really, it's even more real than real money, so now, could you please help me organize my assets? Our task for the next few days is to spend money. No, you can't spend all your money and avoid disasters, are you crazy? Then he touched his forehead again. You don't have a fever. What nonsense are you talking about? I'm afraid you might have had your head lowered. Pooh, what are you talking about, Miss Yun? Money is something that cannot be brought or taken away in life, it's not necessary, and I always feel like I've offended a villain. It's better to break the wealth. Then he widened his eyes and looked at Qiao Mi. No, I just realized it. Qiao Mi, you're a different person. How do you feel like you're much more likable now? Qiao Mi's face was covered in black lines. Sister, how long has it been since you realized I'm different? Perhaps it's because I was caught in the rain and woke up. After this calculation, Qiao Mi realized that she really didn't have much money, barely able to make 30 million. I have been in the industry for 8 years now, and I can count both hands in my annual break time. I have also starred in 6 TV dramas and 3 movies. There are more advertisements. As a result, only these are my savings. For a moment, Qiao Mi began to doubt life. Am I so poor? So, I haven't made much money from filming for so many years. Qiao Mi immediately shut up. Okay, my past self was just a hammer. It's like holding Qiao Ran's white-eyed wolf in your palm, earning money either to buy luxury goods for Qiao Ran or to invest in the Qiao Group. But Qiao Group has nothing to do with her, Qiao Mi. Whether it's profits or dividends, they all end up in the belly of that family of 3. Thinking about it, I feel like I'm really too stupid. Actually, it's not without you. You still have 2 properties, which can add up to around 20 million yuan. Yeah, how did I forget about this thing? Qiao Mi slapped her head as she spoke. Well, there's no need to hit yourself like that. Then sell it and hang it up now. After speaking, Qiao Mi found the contact information of the agent responsible for her house. These 2 properties were still given to Qiao Mi by Mr. Qiao before, and it is said that one of them was left by Qiao Mi's mother. They are all old houses, but fortunately the location is good. Over the years, it has also appreciated significantly. Directly ask the other party to hang up the house, but the requirement is to settle the full payment in a lump sum, and the price can be negotiated. The agent is also given a floating limit of about 4 million yuan. After resolving this matter, Qiao Mi began to consider where she would live after the end of the world. At the beginning, the whole society was chaotic, and she had to find a safe place. It made Qiao Mi wonder if she was really crazy. Miss Yun, can you help me contact some suppliers to get some pork, beef, mutton, chicken, duck, fish, and so on? Let's do some good deeds, but don't promote it. As for vegetables, all kinds are required. Contact the farmer directly. Are you serious? Seriously, I'll leave these to you. I still have some things to deal with. By the way, Sister Yun, the announcement from the last 4 days has been delayed for me, saying something happened at home. Although Qiao Mi was always soft before, she also had her own persistence and recognized one thing, which was that even 9 cows couldn't pull her back. Alright, when will we pick up the goods and where will we put the things? When are you planning to go? Rent 2 warehouses, and in 3 days, temporarily set the quantity for 10 Hope primary schools, as well as the quantity for orphanages and nursing homes throughout the city. We will discuss the remaining quantity later. Are you kidnapped? If you're threatened by kidnapping, just tell me. No, Sister Yun, stop your brain teasers, I'm leaving. On the way, Qiao Mi logged into her Weibo account, which she often posts beauty tutorials and so on. Therefore, there are still over 100,000 fans. I have explained the outbreak of the zombie virus in a subtle way, but it is only my own dream, which is somewhat real. Therefore, I would like to remind everyone. Afterwards, some news about the imminent resurgence of the epidemic was released on various platforms, reminding everyone to stock up on supplies and take necessary precautions. After finishing all of this, Qiao Mi drove towards the place she rented. As for whether netizens believe it or not, it is beyond her control. After all, she herself cannot be certain whether there will be zombie viruses in this life. How long will it last again? After the zombie virus outbreak in her previous life, she only lived for a week and was killed by Qiao Rant's little white lotus. After arriving home, put all the food and things that can be eaten and used inside into the systems built at IN space. Then I started buying and selling, first of all, some daily necessities, which were directly ordered online. Anyway, many people would hoard a lot at once, and no one would doubt it. She bought hundreds of boxes directly. Fortunately, it's really convenient to buy things now. She places orders online and there are warehouses in Kyoto. Some can arrive this afternoon, and the rest can be delivered around 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. As for cosmetics, Qiao Mi basically didn't buy anything, but instead bought some raw materials for making cosmetics and skincare products online. Prepare to make it yourself. These are all local stores. After all, she must gather everything within 3 days. Then I bought several sets of skincare products. After all, she is now a poor person and still needs to save money. For the time being, she is not prepared to hoard anything else. After the outbreak of the zombie virus, the entire social order is chaotic, so she can buy it later. As for the other Qiao Mi, she didn't buy any more. After all, she now has a system that can exchange many good things. Thinking of this, Qiao Mi quickly said, "Stinky, do you still have a redemption function now?" Returning to the host, there are some, but they require a small amount of money. Qiao Mi. Is it cash or antiques in the bank card? Anything is fine, as long as it's valuable. How will take it. Also, if the host is big and calls them stinky, they will be forcibly taken offline. Listening to a mechanical hum, Qiao Mi's whole body is not doing well. It's really a bit unpleasant. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Storage of Materials 1. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 Storage of Materials 1. In order not to hurt the system's heart, Qiao Mi still didn't say, "Got it, do I still have my weapon?" Dang. Look. It's your most precious boxing ring. When Qiao Mi's mind came up with a fist holster, she was still very excited because it was her favorite weapon. Even after having it, no matter in which fast-moving world, this weapon has always been used. How did you deceive the main system? Cough. That's. Oh my, host, don't ask anymore. If you ask, you may not want to use it anymore. Upon hearing these words, Qiao Mi felt a chill in her back and had a very bad premonition. I'm just asking you, is my fist holster still the same as before? Can it still be used? It must be functional, it must be the original appearance. After receiving the system's answer, Qiao Mi was satisfied, and the rest was unimportant. People still can't be too clear-headed. The system silently said, it seems like you can only do this. What if you don't do this? Qiao Mi. You are a real dog. Host, praise me. Hao kept waving his robotic arm as he spoke. Qiao Mi looked at the robot in her mind and felt it was too cold. Can you change your appearance? After speaking, Hao looked at Qiao Mi with a look of grievance on his face and said, Host, are you disgusted with Hao? Qiao Mi chuckled coldly twice, forget it, this is just a whimpering robot. After recognizing it, it's better to speak less. After putting away the things, Qiao Mi went out. She also needs to buy some stormtroopers and warm cotton jackets, which are very needed in the apocalypse. Choose to go directly to an outdoor product store. Purchase a complete set of equipment. Mountaineering ropes, tents, and fuel lights need to be purchased. After 2 days of the apocalypse, there will be a power outage, and fuel lights are also needed. As Qiao Mi bought so much, the shopkeeper curiously asked, Are you planning to go hiking and camping, beautiful woman? Well, yes, it's just that I haven't bought it before and the place I went to was very cold. What else do I need to buy? Qiao Mi asked as she looked at the equipment in front of her. After all, she had only passed through the apocalypse once before and still wore it on zombies, so she really didn't understand these things. The shop owner saw Qiao Mi as a newcomer and beautiful. Immediately and enthusiastically introducing. I highly recommend this tent. It has a particularly good windproof effect, but this one is quite large and can accommodate 2 people. Qiao Mi smiled and said, We have a lot of people, so we probably need at least 10 for a couple. Upon hearing these words, the shop owner's chubby face smiled so hard that his eyes couldn't even see. Haha, that's great, but I only have 5 here. If you need them, I'll transfer them from other stores and they won't arrive until tomorrow morning. No problem, that's just this tent, and the ones we just saw. Do you need anything else? The shopkeeper looked at the things Qiao Mi had chosen and said, Basically, we have them all. Ah, this is a specialized hammer for mountaineering, along with a stick, emergency lights, and charcoal stove. Do you think you need them? Because these were not necessary, the boss did not recommend them earlier, which would be a probing question for Qiao Mi. Qiao Mi thought of shutting down water, electricity, and gas after the end of the world. Even if it could generate electricity, the fuel used was still very scarce, and charcoal was a good thing. Yes, I'll take everything you have. We are a group company organizing activities, so there are many people. How many stoves and charcoal are there? There isn't much charcoal, a few 100 pounds. If you buy more, I'll give it to you directly. Let me take a look at the stove, About 10. I'll take it all. We have a bonfire party and barbecue. I was supposed to go somewhere else, but I didn't expect you to have everything here, which saved me from running around. The shop owner thought happily, oh, big customers. Immediately agreed, all right, leave an address so that I can contact other stores tomorrow and deliver it to you. You prepare the goods first. The person who rented the warehouse hasn't sent the address yet. I'll let you know when we send it later. Okay, how much else do you want? I'll take the clothes and shoes that I just selected, 3 pieces of the same, and give me as much as you have in your store for the others. If you want the tent you recommended, just 10 pieces. Can you calculate the price? How much deposit can I give you first? The shop owner roughly calculated that based on his estimated inventory, the total price of all items is at least nearly 1 million. He said, so, you can pay a deposit of 100,000 first, and the rest will be given after we deliver tomorrow. Line. After quickly transferring the money, Qiao Mi left. After all these clothes, they are necessary. Tents are not necessarily necessary, but they still need to be there. After all, she doesn't know if she will stay out in the wilderness. After finishing these, Qiao Mi went to find her own agent. She is planning to rent a house with high privacy for only 3 days, and she also needs to reinforce the house. The time is still very urgent. It's already noon now, and Qiao Mi doesn't remember when the zombie virus happened in her previous life. She was still filming that day, and by the time someone bit someone on the set, the zombie virus had already spread, which would be around 7 p.m. in the evening. Therefore, Qiao Mi speculates that it is highly likely that there is already a zombie virus. It's just that it hasn't spread yet. I think my generation is also a bit miserable. Not long after being born, there was an outbreak of the epidemic. Later, just after graduating from university, there was another outbreak of the epidemic. After some time, the epidemic finally passed, and there was another outbreak of the zombie virus. What a pity. Because the goal was very clear, coupled with the fact that the agent was a very agile young man, she quickly became optimistic. Although the young man was puzzled why Qiao Mi had to sell her house and rent a new one, he didn't say anything because he was a major client. That's it then, Miss Qiao. Well, that's it, deposit 1 pay 1. The young man nodded and said, yes, the owner of this house is a famous landlady. All the houses are on deposit, and he said he wants to hear the sound of money coming in frequently. Qiao Mi couldn't help but laugh. Still very individualistic. How is the occupancy rate here? Because it's a real estate development from 2 years ago, the occupancy rate is still not high, around 10.2%. After hearing this, Qiao Mi was very satisfied. That's it. Actually, she could go to the villa to rent a house, but she doesn't have the money. Villas are usually paid within 6 months or a year, and her money is still used to store supplies, so she still gave up this idea. After signing the contract and the agent left, Qiao Mi began to plan how to reinforce the house and listed all the items that needed to be purchased. Some furniture also needs to be purchased. After all, even in the apocalypse, one still needs to live comfortably. Thinking of the devastation she had seen before, Qiao Mi was actually quite scared. After all, she was a zombie at the time, and even if she didn't eat for a few days, it wouldn't be any good. Later on, she gradually switched to being a vegetarian. She can still eat those contaminated fruits and vegetables, and even make her stronger. Who made her a zombie? But that was a time of passing through the world quickly. She was not infected in her previous life, so in this life, she can't just play a familiar role. Take the initiative to get infected. Qiao Mi stood by the window, overlooking the entire community. Nodding in satisfaction, the most important reason for choosing this room is that it is on the top floor and she doesn't need to worry about the situation upstairs. And she's planning to install a water storage tank and a purifier on the rooftop. After all, even if she changes the entire roof to a water storage tank, it won't hold much water and she still needs a water purifier. But she's not in a hurry, she buys good things first, and slowly transforms them when the apocalypse comes. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Storage of Materials 2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Storage of Materials 2. With a plan in mind, the next step is to go buy these things. Drive directly to the decoration market, choose a well-known large-scale equipment specialty store, and get everything done at once. The most important water storage tank has not been purchased yet. She had just checked and found that it could be purchased online, but it would take about half a month. She couldn't wait and said, "Boss, do you know where to sell water storage tanks? They are needed for both industrial and household use." "What are you?" The middle-aged boss's eyes flickered as he looked at Qiao Mi, unable to figure out why Qiao Mi wanted these things. Qiao Mi smiled and said, "Used in factories." "To understand, I can help you ask." Wait a moment, do you have any size requirements? The bigger the better, but I want stock, preferably arriving tomorrow or the day after. Okay, you wait. After saying that, the boss went inside to make a phone call and left Qiao Mi in the store to continue watching. At first glance, Qiao Mi had something she wanted to buy again, which was a material similar to bulletproof glass, acrylic. Although there is no channel to obtain bulletproof glass, this thing is also good. At least it won't be broken by anyone. Adding a wire protection net outside, the safety effect is still very good. After some planning, Qiao Mi continued to watch inside, ready to see if there was anything useful. Qiao Mi didn't stop until the boss came back. I have contacted you and they now have oversized, 100 square meter water storage tanks made of stainless steel material. Qiao Mi nodded hastily and said, sure, can it arrive tomorrow? Sure, there are 5 on his end now. How many do you want? 2 is enough. By the way, boss, do you have a PE material water storage tank? It's just for workers' simple toiletries. I have this here. What size do you want, from 100 kilograms to 2 tons? After speaking, he took Qiao Mi and walked towards the yard behind the store. Qiao Mi planned the height, after all, she still needed to put 2 at home, so she asked for 1 2-ton, 2 1-ton, and 3 200 kilograms. I don't want it anymore, after all, if I buy it again, it will really arouse suspicion. Boss, do you have any acrylic glass in stock? Yes, there is. Today, we will measure the size first. If possible, we can replace it today. If not, we can do it tomorrow. Is that okay? The boss couldn't help but wonder when he saw Qiao Mi so anxious, and finally asked directly, are you building a fortress? Haha. No, mainly the new house I just bought today, and the factory was just completed last week. They all rushed together. Speaking, Qiao Mi pretended to be tired and helped her forehead. Haha, understanding and understanding. Young people just need to strive more, like I'm old now and can't fight anymore, Qiao Mi smiled. Boss, do you have any sound insulation cotton here? I would like to add a layer of the best sound insulation cotton and a layer of insulation cotton to my house. How could there be such a requirement? For my own professional needs, insulation cotton is something I'm afraid of the cold, so. You understand. Qiao Mi shrugged and smiled helplessly. Both. In fact, insulation cotton also has sound insulation effects, but the sound insulation effect is not as good as specialized insulation cotton. Qiao Mi said directly, can we pack both today? Today. The boss thought for a moment and said again, it's definitely not possible to replace the glass today. In this case, I'll send a technician to come and measure the size first, and I'll make it for you as soon as possible. However, it's estimated that it won't be ready until tomorrow afternoon or the day after tomorrow. As for the sound insulation cotton and insulation cotton you mentioned, they can be installed today. I'll ask the master to bring more materials over. Okay, no problem, then let's go now. Please calculate the price of these things I want first, and send me the required deposit. Okay. After solving these things, Qiao Mi finally managed to catch her breath. But he dare not stop for a moment. Stinky, is there a cave where time is stagnant? Returning to the host, yes, but only 100 square meters high. Qiao Mi thought for a moment and felt that it was enough. Okay, pack it up. I'll put some boxes in later. Can you help me sort them out? This one is specifically designed for storing food. Okay, host. By the time the master finished measuring, it was already past 6 p.m. The master who installs sound insulation cotton and insulation cotton is still working overtime. After asking the master, he said it might be until around 10 p.m., so as they didn't make much noise, Qiao Mi asked the master to work overtime and do it all at once today. After arranging, Qiao Mi went to several fast food restaurants and wrapped up all the remaining ingredients for today. This time, he directly revealed his own appearance. Xiao and Qiao Mi are also well-known movie stars now, and all the shop owners have no doubts or questions. Immediately start preparing for Qiao Mi. Finally, Qiao Mi called several milk tea shops she often worked with and told them that she wanted 1,000 servings of milk tea tomorrow. Let them prepare the materials in advance. These milk tea shops often cooperate with Qiao Mi, so naturally they are directly involved. While waiting, Qiao Mi also ordered a lot of delicious food online, all of which were delivered to her own home. As for those fast food restaurants, the shop owner said that they would probably finish everything around 1 a.m., and some were even earlier at 11 a.m. Therefore, Qiao Mi made a direct appointment and went home. During this period, the masters have already installed the living room and kitchen, and there are still 2 bedrooms that have not been installed. The bathroom is not properly installed either. Qiao Mi distributed the food she bought to the masters, allowing them to work while eating. She is waiting outside for takeout. After waiting, all the food is placed in the storage box in its original state, and then placed in the space of the system using the mind. Chi-Chi, I have already contacted you and will be ready the day after tomorrow. Your money is now gone. Woo-woo. My own artist is really a loser, little money. Heartbreaking. It's okay, the agent is already in talks today, and we estimate there will be results tomorrow. You're going to die, crazy, Qiao Chi-Chi. Do you really want to become a poor person? Is that necessary? Yunjie, don't worry, Qiao, sure, I still have dividends. I know you won't starve to death, but I won't ruin myself. Sigh, forget it, it's just that Qiao Chi-Chi, you still need to leave some capital for yourself. Well, I know, Sister Yun. I kept it. Don't worry, by the way, come to my new rental place tomorrow and find me. Got it, I'm really crazy, okay, I'm hanging up. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Storage of Materials 3. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6 Storage of Materials 3. Qiao Mi smiled and didn't think about these things anymore. There were still many things she hadn't bought today. We need to plan it out. I ordered some exercise equipment online and prepared to keep it at home to avoid being unable to go out. She still needs to exercise. I ordered a sandbag, a dynamic bike, and a treadmill. She used Mobe very cruelly this time. If there is no zombie virus, she will return it next month. If there is, she will go for free once, anyway, by then it will be mostly for free. There will be no psychological burden. After Qiao Mi got to know each other, she went to buy some water and drinks. Although survival is necessary, appropriate enjoyment is also essential. At around 11 o'clock in the evening, the sound insulation cotton and insulation cotton for the entire house were finally ready. After the masters left, Qiao Mi also left. Go and get the fast food, hamburgers, fried chicken, and many other snacks and boxed meals that were pre-ordered. Every time Qiao Mi takes away a store, after getting in the car, she puts it directly into the system space and then goes to the next store. During this period, Qiao Mi ordered many barbecues at home. Basically, each household has ordered 2,000 to 3,000, so it's better to make a note for 20 people to eat, so that the boss doesn't call and ask if they ordered the wrong one. After receiving everything, Qiao Mi drove home, and as soon as she got home, the doorbell rang. Hello lady, your takeout is here. Qiao Mi quickly reached out and said, Shoo, keep it down. We're creating a surprise for our friends. Can you help me put the door open? We'll come out and pick it up later. Thank you. The delivery guy nodded quickly and whispered, Okay, there's also a snack the boss brought you here. Thank you. After the young man left, Qiao Mi slowly took the things in by herself. Using the same method, Qiao Mi signed for several barbecue restaurants afterwards. She still lives in the house she rented before, where there are many celebrities and internet celebrities who often order a large amount of takeout. So those shop owners see that the takeout here is mostly delivered directly. And the house she rented today, the fastest she can move to is probably the day after tomorrow. Tomorrow, there will be glass installation there, and only after the glass is installed can someone clean it. Afterwards, Qiao Mi arranged her itinerary for the day after tomorrow. I found that there is really a lot of things to do, especially many things to buy that have not been bought yet. As for those seeds and trees, she is not planning to buy them anymore. Buying it is not very useful. The systems built that in space is just a few caves, and only things can be stored. Moreover, if I remember correctly, she was just an ordinary person in the previous life. Unless this world can achieve the power of Jueshi in a week. But according to her understanding, it's impossible. So she still needs to get a battle uniform, otherwise after being caught by a zombie, she will only be dead and perked up. She just doesn't know if there's a chance of rebirth even if it's cold this time. The next morning, starting at 7:30, a delivery guy started calling Qiao Mi. She said her package arrived. Qiao Mi quickly got up, washed up briefly, and drove towards the newly rented house, which usually took about half an hour. And the courier usually takes about an hour to deliver the package over there. Some homeowners require them to deliver directly to their doorstep. It still takes a lot of time. When Qiao Mi arrived, the delivery guy happened to be preparing to go into the community to deliver the package. "Hello, I'll take the package for Building 3, 2401, he said because Qiao Mi has a lot of express deliveries. As soon as she mentioned her house number, the delivery guy knew which ones were available. "These are all here," the young man pointed to a pile on the ground and said to Qiao Mi. Qiao Mi nodded and said, "Okay, you can go and deliver it. I'll just load it onto the car myself." The young man chuckled and put down the cart in his hand. "It's okay, I'll help you get on the cart. You're afraid it's too heavy to move on your own." As soon as he spoke, he began to help Qiao Mi move it up. Finally, the trunk of Qiao Mi's car was full, but there were still more than 10 left. Qiao Mi waved her hand and said, "Put it on the back seat." "Okay." After everything was moved up, Qiao Mi checked the time and found that the mall had not yet opened, so she went directly to the fruit wholesale market. After arriving, she ordered 50 boxes of apples, oranges, bananas, dragon fruits, and so on. These smaller ones were ordered 50 boxes each, while the remaining ones, such as durian, watermelon, and pomelo, were ordered 200. If it weren't for not having a lot of money, she could have bought more. These alone cost 500,000 to 600,000 yuan, and Qiao Mi felt anxious as she watched the rapidly decreasing amount in her card. Thinking that today the agent should be able to provide information on whether the house over there can be sold, there will be a result, otherwise she wouldn't have the money to pay the final payment for these things today. After buying fruits and writing the address of the warehouse, Qiao Mi went directly to the mall. Rubbing her eyebrows while calling and cursing Qiao Mi. Qiao Mi quickly turned down the volume in the car and said, "Yunjia, you can just keep it. You bought some fruits and remember to keep them later. There are also some bottled water and drinks, which are expected to be delivered later." After speaking, I quickly hung up the phone. Terrifying. But thinking about the chaos on the street when she went to save the Qiao family of 3 in the previous life, Qiao Mi gave up this idea directly. I bought 5 items for the 2 of them, and then I bought some scarves, hats, and gloves. Finally, there are some close-fitting clothes. When buying close-fitting clothes, Qiao Mi suddenly thought that she could definitely buy some disposable ones, which saved a lot of water. As for the garbage, she has already checked it and there is no one living downstairs. It will be requisitioned directly when the time comes. Thinking of taking immediate action, she directly bought nearly 100,000 disposable intimate clothing and disposable items. I also bought cat litter for using the restroom online. Actually, she didn't know if it was useful. She found it online yesterday and was ready to give it a try. Then I bought a few blankets and some bedding in the mall. Later on, I went to the supermarket to buy a lot of fast food products, which can be eaten with hot water, and even those self-heating foods, which can be eaten with water. Because there were many purchases, the manager of the supermarket directly asked someone to take Qiao Mi to checkout. Even the checkout guy kindly advised Qiao Mi to eat less of these junk foods. Qiao Mi smiled and said that they were purchased by the company, not for her own consumption. Afterwards, I went to several supermarkets to buy fast food products. I bought a lot of canned meat and ham sausages, and also bought a lot of semi-finished dishes. The most frequently purchased item is a dessert made by a supermarket. Directly emptied their shelves. At this moment, she was followed by more than 10 supermarket staff pushing carts for her, while the supermarket manager was following Qiao Mi's side. "Miss Qiao, what else do you need? We will deliver the goods to you tomorrow. Is that okay with you?" The manager of the supermarket looked at Qiao Mi's demeanor and knew that she was a big customer, so naturally she was warmly welcomed. Qiao Mi thought it was okay and said, "I'm asking the crew to send some semi-finished dishes tomorrow morning, as well as the meat in the meat display cabinet over there, the fried goods over there, and desserts. We'll take all of them, 100 servings of meat, and as for desserts, 50 servings each will be fine." Okay, what else do you need?" Qiao Mi thought for a moment, but there was nothing left for now. She said, "That's all. I just hope the manager can keep it confidential. I don't want to go on hot searches." Definitely. After Qiao Mi finished paying the bill, the staff helped her put the things she had bought into the car. Slowly, the trunk, including the front passenger seat, was filled with things that could be said to be full. Qiao Mi and others left the garage, taking advantage of the absence of a camera, quickly put the things on the front passenger seat into the space. She doesn't want to be on social news. The entire front passenger seat is piled up so much that the rearview mirror cannot be seen. Isn't this challenging the authority of the traffic police? Then I went to several pet shops and bought a lot of cat litter to go back to, and the ones I bought online will be delivered this afternoon. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. New members. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. New members. Just as Qiao Mi was about to leave, she saw a white puppet cat in the corner looking pitifully at her. And the kitten still has abnormal pupils, one eye is green and the other is blue. The whole person was lying on the glass, looking at herself, neither noisy nor noisy, but those eyes seemed to be able to speak, making Qiao Mi's heart melt. Just thinking about the situation in the apocalypse, Qiao Mi still hesitated. After all, I can't be sure if I can really take care of this little thing, and I'm afraid the little one will howl twice, so it's really cool. Just as Qiao Mi was still hesitating, the shop owner walked over and looked in Qiao Mi's direction, only to find that little guy. "If you like it, madam, you can consider bringing it home. You must have a lot of cat litter at home, do you have any puppets?" Qiao Mi shook her head and said, "It's not for herself, it's for a friend." "That's okay, do you like it or not? Our child is now 3 months old and all the procedures are complete." Qiao Mi originally wanted to shake her head and refuse, but she saw the little cat give her a sad look. Then he turned around and hid in the corner. "Oh my, this little guy still has some fun. How about considering buying it?" Qiao Mi, who is still rational, is still very hesitant. Then he gritted his teeth fiercely and said, "I bought it." The young lady immediately came out holding the little cat and said, "Okay, young lady, let's handle the procedures here." As soon as he finished speaking, the kitten became dishonest and kept reaching towards Qiao Mi, even meowing softly. Qiao Mi looked at the little one's noticeably cheerful expression and smiled, "Give it to me." Speaking, he took the little guy from the clerk's hand. The little guy threw himself directly into Qiao Mi's arms and couldn't stop anymore. His little face was buried in Qiao Mi's arms. Even when the pet store said goodbye to it at the last moment of departure, it ignored it. as if afraid that Qiao Mi would abandon it. Qiao Mi smiled and patted the back of the puppet, comforting the little puppet cat. For this little one, Qiao Mi bought a lot of cat food and various medicines to treat cats. In order to avoid suspicion, Qiao Mi also bought a lot of cat food and canned cats from the same city's online store. As soon as I put the little guy into the car, he became very excited and bounced back and forth inside. Qiao Mi began to doubt the introduction from the shop owner, who clearly said it was a quiet sister, but now it's just a few meanings. Is there anything more lively than it? It's gone. Be quiet, sister. I'm going to get angry if you're like this. Qiao Mi, whose face was ready to scare the little one. But the little one doesn't eat this at all. He jumps onto the cat food in the back row and squats on it, looking like he can do anything to me. Watching Qiao Mi's heart beat wildly. Don't ask, asking is like getting angry and having a heart attack. Sister, if you don't listen anymore, there's no food to eat today. Qiao Mi looked at the little guy with a warning in her eyes. In the end, the little one obediently sat on the passenger seat. Qiao Mi touched Xiaojia's head with satisfaction. Drive to eat. After finding a restaurant where pets can also enter, Qiao Mi took advantage of the time when the little one had not yet boarded the car to put the things in the space. Get up and go home, the glass master over there is already waiting. After opening the door, let the master install it first, while Qiao Mi is preparing to take the kitten to the buyer's house for use. Many pots, bowls, ladles, and pots are very scarce in our house now. Another thing is that Qiao Mi didn't buy all of her daily necessities. Looking at the sofa in the living room, Qiao Mi decided to give it directly to the master. As for if it's not the end of the world, then she'll buy another good one for the landlord. Master, these sofas, as well as the dining cabinets here, if you want, move them out. I'm ready to replace them with new ones. The master who was installing the glass heard this and said with a smile on his face, that's too embarrassing. These are all new, you. It's okay, if you have anything you like, just move out. I'll have to find someone to handle it myself and pay for it, haha. The masters did not refuse Qiao Mi's words anymore. Quickly responding, okay, thank you, Miss Qiao. Could you please let us know what you don't want? We took the wrong item to save time. Qiao Mi nodded. So, give me your tape, I'll stick on everything I don't want, and when you guys leave, just move it away. After speaking, start planning the entire room which ones are not needed. After all, many things are not necessary afterwards, such as display cabinets, sofas, dining tables, coffee tables, and so on. After the living room, she is likely to change it into a fitness area. And yesterday, I specifically asked the master to leave 200 square meters of soundproof and insulation cotton, so that I can lay it on the ground myself. A 4-bedroom, 2-living room house with 3 bedrooms and a bed inside. Qiao Mi asked the master to also move the bed from one guest room. As for the remaining room, she plans to lay thick cat litter on the ground to meet their physiological needs. The sound of flushing is too loud, and after the apocalypse, the sewer will return a strange smell. The smell is simply unacceptable. Thinking about Qiao Mi, I feel that the days ahead will be very difficult. And there are also changes in the weather. Thinking of the weather, she suddenly remembered that she had only bought something to cope with extreme cold weather. But when the zombie virus first broke out, it was extremely hot. She remembered that when she passed away, the weather seemed to be over 50 degrees Celsius. Anyway, the sun is scorching and painful on my body. In fact, she didn't suffer much in her previous life. Just a week after the zombie virus outbreak, she fell cold and was still thrown into the zombie group by her father. Now thinking about it, Qiao Mi has no reaction. After all, it has been too long in the past. After a long time, she no longer held the same grudge against Zhao Qiping as she did at the beginning. Now, she sees Zhao Qiping as more indifferent. I think they are strangers. But she must seek revenge for herself in the previous life. Suppressing her emotions, Qiao Mi continued to go out shopping, fully armed every time she went out. After all, her coffee shop was there. The number of fans is also very large. Several fans recognized her at the supermarket today. At that time, she also suggested that they stock up on things at home, saying that the crew has been running a lot of fever lately, reminding a wave of fans. Those fans immediately agreed and looked at Qiao Mi with gratitude. Qiao Mi smiled and asked them to say in the fan group that she was not good at posting on Weibo, otherwise if there was nothing wrong, she would be criticized. Fans expressed understanding and said that you know it yourself. Anyway, there's no harm in hoarding something. A few small fans and Qiao Mi bought a lot of things together. Qiao Mi felt a little relieved when she saw that everyone had bought it. Many of her current fans have followed her for so many years, and she is very grateful to them, Qiao Mi. Even now, Qiao Mi remembers that after the zombie virus outbreak in the previous life, fans sent a lot of food and supplies to the Qiao family. It's just that all that went into the belly of that family of 3. I didn't use it at all. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Last Day. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Last Day and all the milk tea ordered last night was ready, so Qiao Mi went to the store to pick it up herself. After taking it, put it in the space and go to the next store. I bought 10 fans that can be used as batteries in the home appliance store, and then went to buy a lot of batteries. Afterwards, I rented a refrigerated car and went to the ice cream wholesale factory to buy a lot of ice cubes. After putting the ice cubes in, I turned around and directly put them into the space. Just as she was about to go to the mall to buy the remaining things, Qiao Mi received a call from the agent. He said his house had been sold for a total of 15 million yuan, but unfortunately, the agent took a long time. He said that if it weren't for Qiao Mi's full payment, he could have sold it for around 24 million yuan. Many people don't go to see the full payment as soon as they hear about it. The intermediary has been sighing with regret. Qiao Mi didn't feel much about it herself. After all, the zombie virus would break out tomorrow afternoon at the latest, the day after tomorrow. That's it. I'll go directly to handle the transfer procedures now. I have something else to do tomorrow. The agent hurriedly said, "Wait a moment, let me ask these people." 1 minute later, the agent asked again, "Miss Qiao, can I take them directly to the exchange to wait for you?" "Sure." Afterwards, they made money, and Qiao Mi cooperated in handling the transfer of ownership. At 5 o'clock, everything was finally done. Qiao Mi had something else to attend to, so she left immediately after finishing it, as she still had to go buy some things. At this moment, her comments online are fermenting, but because Qiao Mi is only suggesting, she feels at ease to hoard some things. There are no other negative comments. Therefore, even if she is fermented, the official has no reason to say anything, let alone ask her to delete her comments or ban her account. Only her comments on various platforms were mocked, saying that she wanted to become popular and went crazy. Qiao Mi looked at it before and was too lazy to say anything to these people. She directly said that it was just her own intuition, and she hoarded some things, feeling at ease in her heart. Even if there is really something, I won't panic. Nothing happened, at most it was just a period of not buying anything and slowly eating the stored food at home. As soon as these words were spoken, although some people continued to curse, they improved a lot. Just for a while, the sales of those fast food products online have significantly increased, and many merchants have taken the opportunity to bundle and sell them directly. Prepare to sell your old items. But there are very few people who buy it. After all, they didn't have to buy it either, but 2 days later, they began to regret it. Of course, this is all for later discussion. At this moment, Qiao Mi had just received the money and transferred more than half of it. The money from the owner of the outdoor equipment store and the furniture city owner must be settled with them. Qiao Mi went to a furniture store alone and bought 2 doors, one of which directly selected materials at the vault level. After installation, it was already past 8 o'clock. The master looked at the third-floor door of Qiao Mi's house, and his expression almost didn't tense. This is. I used to have private meals at home before, and when I got scared, I just. Master, it's easy to understand. He's a celebrity, no wonder one is wearing sunglasses and a mask. At the same time, he also understands why there are so many doors. Fortunately, Qiao Mi placed a screen at the entrance. If the masters saw those things inside, they might really think that Qiao Mi might have that serious illness. After the masters left, Qiao Mi looked at a house that didn't look like home at all, rubbed her swollen temples, took out her phone, and ordered a bunch of food to go to the house over there. Just left here. Seeing Qiao Mi's phone call, my eyes could easily get angry. You're going to die, Qiao Qiqi. Do you still know how to call me? What did you do today? Buying so many things, are you going to heaven? Cough. Yunjie, don't be so irritable. You. Shut up, Qiao Qiqi. Are you out of money now? I still have several merchants' final payment bills today, and I haven't saved much in the past few years. A total of 2.7 million yuan. You can use them for now. Although I don't know what you're up to, doing something good will give me a sense of accomplishment. Alright, you can make the payment first. I'll pay for the vegetables, and you can figure out how to do it yourself. I don't have any money left. Qiao Mi's eyes were filled with a tear as she smiled and said, okay, I understand. Sister Yun, thank you, Sister Yun. Humph, Qiao Qiqi, no matter what happens, your sister and I are here. Do you hear me? Well, I got it, Sister Yun, come to my new home for lunch tomorrow. I'll send you your address later. I'll send it back to you. Goodbye, Sister Yun. After Qiao Mi finished speaking, she quickly hung up the phone and said to herself, I can't afford it. Women in their 30s can't afford it. Although he was roast, Qiao Mi's face rarely showed a genuine smile. Even those cold eyes were now tinged with a hint of warmth. After entering, I saw piles of various supplies piled up in the mountains and waved my hand to put everything into the space. How, put the fruit into the cave where the food is stored. Okay, host, isn't it? Host, don't you think you're a dog? Only when you can use me, I'm How, and I always stink. Humph, sure enough, women can't be trusted, especially beautiful women. Puff. Who did you learn from? The main system, it gave me several books on how to get along with women. Listen to me, delete all those books. It's useless, I'm lying to you. Humph, I don't believe it, only you lied to me. Qiao Mi nodded wryly and said, alright, you can keep it. It's great to learn something to make some jokes for her, but then cut off contact and went to the cold storage to take the things away. That night, Qiao Mi saw many incidents of people hurting people on her phone and directly commented on them using her own large account. It's too scary to say, I hope everyone stays indoors recently and decides not to go out as much as possible for the next week. Due to her comments, the internet has become a hot pot, and many black fans have started to criticize her for deliberately riding the heat and making these negative comments. But Qiao Mi didn't read a word and sat by the window holding a stuffed cat, watching the traffic below. This may be the last day of ease. End of this chapter. Chapter 9 is coming soon. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 is coming soon. At around 7 o'clock in the morning, Qiao Mi received a call from the manager of the supermarket yesterday, saying that the goods had been delivered to the warehouse, but there was no one in the warehouse. Qiao Mi hurried towards the warehouse. During the gap between waiting for a red light on the road, Qiao Mi ordered a lot of breakfast, all kinds of things. If it weren't for How telling her that there was only about 9 square meters left in the cave where time had stagnated, she would still be selling food in large quantities now. She wouldn't even know how to do it if she had a hand injury. Anyone who can cook a dish wouldn't say they can't cook it like they do now. After collecting the items in the warehouse, I calculated that there were basically only the items I bought online left, and we have already received them here. More than 3 million yuan was spent again, and Qiao Mi finally had some confidence in her heart. The more things she hoards, the more secure she feels. In the past, she had seen many people starving to death at home, as well as some people leaning on tree trunks by the roadside. Unlike other zombies, Qiao Mi is a zombie with only thoughts. It also carries all her memories of traveling through the world. Therefore, when she saw that scene, her heart was very uncomfortable at that time, so she often sneaked out to help survivors. I only encountered a few survivors who, after seeing him, directly attacked him and wanted to kill him. Slowly, the heart of going out to help also subsided. Just occasionally help when possible. After all, at that time his identity was a zombie, or the future zombie king. To carry out one's duties in one's position. She still needs to have this professional ethics. After tidying up, it was the problem with the generator. As she had no money, she prepared to buy these things again in the post-apocalyptic world when the situation became chaotic. What we need to do now is to step in. Let's talk about the rest later. After driving back, I started signing for the breakfast I ordered for 50 to 60,000 yuan. Qiao Mi seriously suspected that if she didn't have a cave that was stagnant for this time, she might die due to insufficient nutrition intake. Hee. I'm stupid. After speaking, he ignored Qiao Mi and turned around to enter the door. After entering, I saw 2 open doors and said, Qiao Qiqi, what are you doing? Looking at the kitchen again, there is not even a dining table. On the stove, there are many unopened utensils and many disposable utensils. Qiao Qiqi, are you here to invite me as a guest? Aren't you asking me to tidy up your house? All of a sudden, there was no anger left, only heartache. Li Ma said, I'll sleep with you tonight. Not good. Okay, I'm afraid I'll hurt you, Turning around and pulling Qiao Mi, he said, let's go eat outside. Sister, please. Without waiting for Qiao Mi to speak again, he handed Qiao Mi her mask and sunglasses directly. We need to take Qiao Mi away. Meow. 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 Run straight to Qiao Mi's side and rub against her shoes. Qiao Qiqi, when did you raise a cat? How come I don't know? Have you vaccinated the cat? Well, I've tried it and everything is complete. I bought it yesterday and when I was feeling down, I happened to see this cat from the pet store. I felt cured and bought it. And her acting skills are actually very poor, and her lies are easily exposed. In order to protect myself, I am willing to use my own strength to block those dozens of zombies, and eventually turn into a zombie. To say Qiao Mi's only regret. Yoha, the little one is quite good at enjoying it. What's his name? Sister, do you know that I am named Fei? Coincidentally, this is a little kitten, so just call me sister. Why don't you call me sister? Miss Yun, you can go to pharmacies throughout the city now to buy some basic medications, such as alcohol, cold medicine, gauze, and so on. We will bring them over when the time comes. Yeah, I forgot about it. Then please ask Sister Yun to bring more. You can drive yourself and pick them up before heading home. I'll go pack some food for us to celebrate my move to a new home. Okay, be careful on the way. I know Miss Yun, you should be more careful when driving yourself. The two of them separated when they arrived at the garage, and Qiao Mi went directly to Qiao's villa. On the way, I called Qiao Qiping and said that a director was interested in Qiao Ran and wanted her to be a third female lead, but the requirements were quite strict. They asked them to come home and discuss. Qiao Qiping immediately happily said that they were all at home now and asked Qiao Mi to come over directly. Yes, since Dong Xinhui became pregnant a week ago, Qiao Qiping must come back every day at noon and at night after work. In recent days, all social gatherings have been postponed. Every day when it's time, I come back to accompany Dong Xinhui. He looked like a three-good man, while Qiao Ran stayed at home without any notice recently. At this moment, Qiao Mi's face was full of murderous intent, and even the passing car owners could feel a sense of oppression with that domineering look. I just don't understand why there is that sense of oppression. The younger sister sitting in the passenger seat meowed and was also frightened by Qiao Mi's appearance. Fortunately, Qiao Mi regained her momentum after hearing her sister's cry. Alright, it's okay, sister. Why are you so timid, She touched the little one's head and comforted him. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Crazy Abuse of Qiao's Family. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Crazy Abuse of Qiao's Family. Husband, do you really think Qiao Mi can introduce a good character to Ran Ran? Dong Xinhui sat on the sofa, touching her stomach and looking at Qiao Qiping with a worried expression. Qiao Qiping laughed heartily. Be careful. They are all sisters anyway, and naturally they want to help. This sentence directly stunned Qiao Mi, who was just about to enter the door. What is a sisters? Qiao Ran is not Dong Xinhui. So, these two got together when their mother was just pregnant. Thinking of this possibility, Qiao Mi's expression became cold. Go play in the yard, I'll take you home later, she whispered, placing her sister on the ground. After speaking, she patted the little one's buttocks, and when the little one left, Qiao Mi's mouth was filled with a cold smile. Stinky, are those pills I developed here? Yes, host. The main system said it was all garbage, so they didn't take it. Hee, you don't have to say anything. Give me 1 from Infinite Strength, and 3 from Laughing Maru. After Qiao Mi finished speaking, Hao gave Qiao Mi the pill she needed. Looking at the pill in her hand, Qiao Mi sneered. Taking the powerful pill, Qiao Mi pushed the door in. Qiao Qiping looked at Qiao Mi's gloomy face, and his anger couldn't be suppressed anymore. Qiao Mi, who are you holding your face to show me? Ah. If you don't want to come back, get out of here, you white-eyed wolf. Qiao Mi sneered. Approaching Qiao Qiping, what was on his body actually scared him directly. A hint of disbelief flashed in his eyes. What do you want to do? Shut up, I'll just ask you once and answer again after thinking clearly. What do you mean when I said that Qiao Ran and I are sisters? Dong Xinhui looked at Qiao Mi's gaze from the side and was surprised. When did this little slut become so powerful? It's like being possessed by evil. Qiao Qiping was frightened by Qiao Mi's appearance, and at this moment, his forehead began to sweat. Qiao Mi, what are you trying to do? Do you know I'm dad? Qiao Qiping forced himself and shouted at Qiao Mi with a stiff neck. Hee. Funny. After speaking, he kicked Qiao Qiping to the ground. Dong Xinhui was taken off and her eyes were filled with fear. She sat on the sofa and involuntarily stepped back, holding her stomach tightly with both hands. Afraid of affecting one's own children. Qiao Mi didn't even glance at Dong Xinhui and walked straight towards Qiao Qiping. His face was unusually cold and gloomy. Qiao ran upstairs, heard the commotion below and knew that Qiao Mi had returned. Thinking of what Qiao Qiping had just said, she quickly came down from upstairs. As soon as they arrived at the staircase, they saw Qiao Qiping lying on the ground. Qiao Mi walked towards Qiao Qiping with a gloomy expression on her face. With a blink of an eye, he quickly ran a few steps and shouted, Sister, what are you doing? This is Dad. How can you fight with Dad? Qiao Ran, please shut up, Qiao Qiping. Speak clearly. What did that sentence mean earlier? Qiao Mi's aura was too strong, and Qiao Ran was frightened. She wanted to step forward again to help her father say something, but couldn't speak up. I opened my mouth for a while, but in the end, I didn't say anything. And Dong Xinhui was afraid that Qiao Mi would be detrimental to the little one in her belly, so she didn't dare to step forward or even say anything. After all, Qiao Mi's madness just now was indirectly related to herself. Chi, what are you talking about? You know Dad always hopes that you and Ran Ran can become real sisters. Stop talking nonsense, Qiao Mi said and turned around, ready to ask Dong Xinhui. After all, this woman is quite greedy and afraid of death. Qiao Mi picked up Dong Xinhui directly. Qiao Ran next to her saw this and her eyes flickered. She looked at Dong Xinhui's belly with deep meaning in her eyes. Sister, please don't, Mom is just pregnant and can't stand your actions. What's wrong with you? Come towards me. Saying this, he ran straight towards Qiao Mi. I hope to use Qiao Mi's hand to get rid of the child in Dong Xinhui's belly. Qiao Mi saw Qiao Ran's movements and knew what she wanted to do, but how could she possibly let her succeed? Directly extending his left foot, he kicked Qiao Ran down and was about to stop her. Qiao Qiping. Bang! Qiao Qiping was knocked down again, and his body made a clicking sound. Oh roar, I twisted my waist. Qiao Qiping was in pain and a cold sweat broke out on his forehead. Qiao Ran heard Qiao Qiping's voice and quickly got up, wanting to help him up. Dong Xinhui was carried by Qiao Mi here, with a face full of panic. Looking at Qiao Mi's murderous gaze, Dong Xinhui was really scared. I said, don't touch my child, I'll say it. Qiao Mi put Dong Xinhui down and said coldly, speak up. Dong Xinhui's neck shrank in fear and said, yes. It's biological. Ran Ran is your father's child, and I haven't been married before. After speaking, Dong Xinhui was so scared that she closed her eyes directly. She still has one inside her belly, and she cannot ignore this child. She can only tell the truth, hoping that Qiao Mi can let go of this inside her belly. After listening, Qiao Mi turned her head to look at Qiao Qiping with crimson eyes. So. Qiao Qiping, how do you think I should punish you? Qiao Qiping and Qiao Ran were both frightened by Qiao Mi's gaze, while Dong Xinhui huddled on the sofa, not daring to say a word. She wanted to save her son in her belly. She wants to upgrade her son so that the Qiao family belongs to her son. Dong Xinhui constantly comforted herself, calming herself down and not letting Qiao Mi affect her emotions. The pain in her stomach scared her. Therefore, she dared not say anything and could only try to make Qiao Mi ignore herself and adjust her emotions. After hearing Dong Xinhui's words, Qiao Qiping intended to scold her. But looking at Dong Xinhui protecting her stomach and the sweat on her forehead, it became clear that she wanted to protect the child inside. Ran Ran is my child, how about it? Do you still want to meddle in your father's affairs? Who gave you the courage to treat your father like this? Do you believe me to expose you? Qiao Mi sneered nonchalantly, do you think I care? Qiao Qiping was suddenly choked by Qiao Mi and couldn't say anything. However, he immediately looked at Qiao Mi and said, you. Yes, Qiao Ran is my child, but how long has it been? What's the point of saying these things now? Qiao Mi gave a cold smile, it seemed that there was really no need to keep Qiao Qiping. My mother's death is also related to you, isn't it? When asked this question, Qiao Mi was probing. After all, what she heard at the time was that her mother died in difficult childbirth. But for some reason, after learning that Qiao Ran was Qiao Qiping's biological child, Qiao Mi had a very bad feeling. After asking, he asked How for the truth pill. End of this chapter.